Hi, I'm Jordan. Some of you may know me as JMB. Over the years, I've had the privilege of getting to know a wide variety of people, all with different backgrounds, upbringings, and experiences. But one thing that all these people have in common is that at some point in their life, they have or will ultimately face some form of measurable life challenge. Now, different people will have different ways of tackling these challenges, even those that are very similar in nature. Some people will struggle more than others, and unfortunately, some people will feel like they can't face the challenge at all. It's estimated that approximately 6.7% of all American adults will experience at least one major depressive episode in a given year. And it's also estimated that 15.3 out of every 100,000 citizens will commit suicide in America alone. Now, I believe that sometimes all the difference in the world can be made just by hearing the stories of other people who have struggled and realizing that they're still here to tell their stories. That hearing the path that somebody else took can help you find your own path. And that sometimes the difference between success and failure is simply knowing that you're not alone. The interviews that you'll hear in these podcasts are interviews with real people telling their real life experiences and how they overcame their obstacles. And it's the sincere hope of myself and my guests that maybe these podcasts could help someone else find their own path, hang on just another day, or even just know that you're not alone. Now, while we do hope that you are able to take something from these podcasts, please know that they are not a replacement for real help. And if you or someone you know is struggling, please reach out to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. And if no one's told you today, whoever you are, I'm glad you're still here with us. Hi, welcome to the first episode of this new podcast. My first guest for this podcast, I'm actually really happy to introduce. He's one of my best friends. He's lived a very unique life. He's got a lot of life experiences, and I'm looking forward to talking about those with him today. Mike Burch, thank you for being part of this.
No problem. My pleasure.
You realize that we've been friends since I was 17 years old now?
Time flies when you're having fun.
I think a lot of people probably look at us and say, what's that old dude doing being friends with that young guy?
Dude, I'm really not that old.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, about your life.
All right, well, let's start off with I'm old. Nah, really not that old. It's been up until the last few years, it's been I would say, I don't want to say typical, but it's been smooth sailing. It hasn't really been anything too crazy. I've done a lot. I've been a lot of places. I grew up in Port Orange. Went to school there. Played baseball there. Went to high school there. Dropped out of school. Got a job at Ant Catfish when I was just a teenager. Met my future wife. Worked as a cook and had fun. Enjoyed my partying years. Joined the military, did 4 years there. Went all over the world, saw so many different countries, so many different things. I consider myself a vastly traveled person, I think. Which is crazy because I came right back out of the military, right back to my same hometown, doing the same damn thing I was doing when I left. But I made a lot of money. I was good at what I did. When I got out, I got into restaurants and just went straight to the top everywhere I went. Just got a knack for it, I loved it. I love doing it, and I think more than the fact that I love doing it, I think that I loved being able to be a positive influence in people's lives, from covering a shift for them to bailing them out of jail. My employees used to call me Big Daddy, which was really funny. Because I weighed like 260 pounds, my head was like this fucking big. I was like, I really was like Big Daddy. but I looked at them like my charges, my children, my responsibility, and I cared for them. And I think that served me well because, the people that worked for me have followed me from restaurant to restaurant to restaurant, and most of them are people that I still count on to this day.
Well, it's funny, the restaurant industry is actually how we met.
Yeah.
We started out as general manager, came in, completely shook up everything we knew, and for like the first month, I looked at you like an enemy because we had heard so many things about you before you even came in. You know, he sat in my section and he was an asshole, and you know, he straight up said, "By the way, I'm your new manager. I'm coming here to change everything that you know and love." Like, you were made out like this demonic bastard who was just coming to ruin our lives.
And funny how it all worked out years later, huh?
Yeah. The main people who ran around saying those things I haven't seen in years, and you know, we see each other every couple of weeks pretty much.
Yep. And we had a good run at that place too.
Yeah, that was.
We had some good times there.
We had some amazing times. You know, it's funny. I look back and I think about the place. You know, I started there when I was 14. So I met you when I was 17. I'd already been there, 3 years basically.
Yeah.
And the place was, to me, it was amazing back then. We had a good group of people. Everybody was kind of like family. Everybody would leave at the end of their shift and they'd head over to the Porthole, a local bar establishment. And things were really good, and things got sour for a while. You came in, and I mean, it took a little bit of time to get some solid ground, even between you and I. You had brought in a couple of people who I was, to this day, I see them at a market every now and then. I'm like, fuck you. It's not nice to see you.
Yeah, me too for a couple of them, honestly.
But then things took a really... I didn't think things could get better than they were. They got sour, and then things got really, really good. Things took a completely unique turn, and
yeah, I enjoyed my time there.
Yeah, things were wonderful. I got back to where I looked forward to going to my job and doing my work, and
you know what they say? They say that if you do something that you don't hate and you're paying your bills with it, you're a success.
Yeah.
Whether you're a ditch digger or a busboy or a dishwasher or the general manager. I mean, if you're paying your bills and you don't hate what you do or who you do it for, then you're a success. And I mean, if you look at it like black and white on the resume, Boost Bowery was, roughly 4 years of my life that I served as a general manager, made X amount of dollars, blah, blah, blah. But I've never really looked at it or any of the other places, like that as like a job experience. I looked at it as like a life experience, because your people were like part of my life. You know what I mean? And, I mean, a lot of people from Boost are still like family to me, yourself included. But I never really looked at it like a entry on a resume. It was never like that for me. It was never, just job experience. I loved a lot of people at Boost. I love my job at Boost. I love being there. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love coming home too. But I mean, I'll never forget the time that I had there and the people that I did that job with. I felt like we had some good days there, real good days.
Yeah, especially when we started doing the caterings and stuff.
Oh, yeah, it was fucking great.
4 o'clock in the morning, getting back to the restaurant.
Woohoo.
Well, we're done. Now, in all the years I've known you, I mean, we're going on 15 years.
Yeah, that's a long time.
One thing that we've never really talked about was your time in the military. Like, I had no idea what you did, if it's something you want to talk about, or...
I'll be honest with you. It was tough for me in the military because I've always marched to my own drummer. I left home early. I've kind of looked after myself, since I was a teenager. I don't do well with a lot of limitations and restrictions. Ever since I was a kid, it's just not my thing. I don't do well with not being able to have an option or an escape plan. You know what I mean? And in the military, there's no escape plan. You put your name on that dotted line, your ass is locked in, and that's all there is to it. And like running away or quitting, of course, was never an option. Because they would throw your ass in jail. But I mean, I enjoyed my time in the military. I befriended people that I still interact with daily now. I actually love several of the people that I was in the military with 30 years later. I mean, I love them like brothers still. And the places that I went and the things that I did, I chalk it up as a good experience. Of course, being the dastardly fellow I am, I mean, I wasn't an angel, but I think I was a good sailor, and I think that I was enthused about doing my duty and serving my country. I was happy to do that, and all in all, I would. I don't know if I would recommend it for anyone else. Maybe there's like certain people, like me, for a kid like me who is probably just going to be in restaurants for his whole life and never get the fuck out of Port Orange, Florida, to go to the countries that I've gone to and do the things that I've done, I would not take it back. I don't know if I'd recommend it for it's not for everybody, but for me, I mean, I got along good. It's just like everywhere else. I mean, you know, I could have fun anywhere, and I had fun there, and I definitely look at it as a great experience with the travel and with, you know, serving the country and you know, being over, you know, and being part of you know, the world's history, you know, and stuff like that. Yeah, it's neat.
Well, you know, it's funny. One thing that crosses my mind when I think of, no offense, you in the military, is you're kind of obstinate. You know, you're very much, do this. No, why?
Yeah, it wasn't so much that part. I pretty much had down. I drank like a damn fish, so I was a young 19-year-old drunk kid on top of everything else. I had that working against me, but I just described 3/4 of the people that lived on my ship. So, you know, I mean, we all had it working against us. You know, I would say when it came to, like, you know, assignments and duty and stuff like that, man, I was on it. You know, I mean, I was smart. I liked what I did. I liked who I did it with. It was rough for me to not have the option to say, hey, fuck you, I'm going home, or you know, I mean, you know, when you take that away from somebody that is used to marching to their own drum, there's an adjustment period. Right. But man, I mean, basically by the time you get out of boot camp, you're used to somebody telling you what to do, and you're used to doing it. And that's why boot camp is so rough and so you know, structured the way it is, because you take an asshole like me who's not used to taking really any fucking direction at all, and you acclimate them to not just taking direction, but taking direction instantly and without question. You know what I mean? So there is a tweaking and an adjustment of your personality and your habits that comes from not just boot camp, but also your school. You go to school when you go to a boot camp, and it's like a fucking advanced boot camp. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like yeah, you're you know, not in boot camp now, and you can go get drunk and smoke cigarettes and get laid. But you need to get up at this time. You need to be here at this time. You need to go. You know what I'm saying? There's still that structure. You just adjust. I mean, I can honestly say being in the military changed my life. Fuck, boot camp changed my life. When I got out of boot camp, I was a different person than when I went in. When I went in, I had a hanging cross earring and a ponytail. You know?
I can't see that.
Yeah, and when I got out, I was a squad leader and I was squared away. And my inspections were good, and my boots look, you could, you know, see yourself in them. I mean, I was. They acclimate you, and that's good, because if you're going into battle with somebody, you want someone who can, you know, get a directive, follow it, no question. You don't want some asshole that's going to do what they want to do. Those people get killed. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And so the military is set up like that. You know, whether you're a Marine or in the Army or in the Navy, like I was, they acclimate you to be, you know, a soldier, a sailor, an airman. You know, I mean, that's who you are now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And you kind of groove on it. You know what I mean? You get into it, and you like that. You know, I mean, dude. You know, I mean, I know you can't see it now. You've met me way after the fact, but man, you know, I fucking loved yelling yes sir at people and fucking being respectful and being on top of shit, and you know, and being squared away. I liked being squared away. It was cool. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, you've always been. You wouldn't know this by looking at your computer desk, but you've always been, to me, a very, at least mentally organized individual. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's and a lot of it comes from that. A lot of that, my habits to this day. I mean, the fact that I'm able to live by myself and take care of myself. A lot of that comes from, you know, my time in the military. I mean, it's not that I wasn't capable of taking care of myself before. You're just better equipped. Right. I mean, to be honest with you, dude, it's going to sound dickish, and I don't know if a lot of people probably are going to be down with it. But I think, like, everybody should go to boot camp. I mean, it would wipe out that horrible disease known as millennialism. I was like in Israel, it's mandatory that you do X amount of years in the Israeli army no matter what. Bro, I'm on board. I mean, not necessarily with sending everybody into combat. Yeah. You know what I mean? But just have everybody get that wake-up call, you know, that boot camp provides, you know? You're not that special. Right. This ain't your game show, motherfucker. Yeah. You know, you're going to fall in line, and you're going to do what you're told. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, dude, when I went into boot camp, there was probably 80 of us in my company, and probably 10 of us didn't make it through. 10 of them, I should say, because I made it through. But 10 of the 80 didn't make it through. Various reasons. The physical part was too hard. Emotional part, problems at home, got hurt, just a pussy and wanted to leave, whatever. But 70 people went in there and came out different. You know what I mean? And it's a good thing. I mean, it's a good thing. There are 70 more, assuming they're all still alive, there are 70 more improved humans out into the world because of their time in boot camp. I can assure you of that.
I can believe that.
Yeah, man, it's a good thing,
All right, so to me, one of the main purposes of this whole podcast is, there's a lot of wonderful podcasts out there. I have no intention of trying to compete with, these very well organized, well produced podcasts, but I feel that a majority of them focus on mostly lighthearted things, or even their more serious topics may talk some about maybe religion or politics and whatnot.
I like the ones where they just sit around and smoke a bunch of weed. Those are cool podcasts.
Hashtag JRE. Yeah. But I feel like I'm not really sure if this is just my perspective or it's kind of what we're facing, but I feel like we're as a society turning people away from the willingness to talk about problems in their lives, reality or real situations that, look, let's just be honest, some people just aren't equipped to meet and tackle the challenges of life, things that happen to a lot of us.
Yeah, I don't know if not equipped is the way I'd put it. I think that most people are just unwilling to get their heads around shit. Because let's face it, no matter who you are, bad shit's gonna happen to you. I mean, I have certainly had my share, and I've never felt like, I was special. I feel like if you're not there, you're gonna be there one day, and you're gonna need to get your head around it. And a lot of people, they don't do that. They don't get their heads around it because it's just I don't want to say they're weak because it sounds mean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But maybe they're mentally and emotionally lazy. I don't know. Maybe they like being the victim. I've never been anybody's victim. You know what I mean? And I don't like being weak, and I don't subscribe to the point of view that you're not in control of every single emotion you have. I think that it's all upstairs. I think that how you mentally and emotionally tackle something, it's up to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not a disease. You know what I mean? You're not stricken with cancer and you're going to die and there's nothing you can do. That's not it. That's not it. It's more like, man, you are up against the wall. You're in a spot you don't know how to get out of. It's time for you to pull up your socks and start figuring out a way to be good, to get through it and not just survive it, but thrive after it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I like and I respect that mental approach. Where I think we maybe would run into problems in terms of social avenues or social aspects, I should say, is that the people who maybe they're lazy, like you said, or they're unwilling.
Lazy is such a weird word to use because it's not they're lazy. It's just that they're averse to it.
Right.
Because you know what, pain hurts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of people run away from things that hurt. Look how many junkies there are out in the world because they can't stand to be sick for 7 days to get their goddamn life back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how drug addiction basically works when you're on the hook. I mean, you can just keep doing it because you're too much of a pussy to be sick for a week, or you say, I would like my children back, my family's respect, my friends, maybe the ability to hold a job. I'm gonna nut up and fucking go throw up and have diarrhea for a week and kick this shit, and then at least get it back to where it's a choice instead of a physical need. Well,
it's funny you mentioned that. There's a series of YouTube videos out there. Unfortunately, I can't remember the account or where this person is, but I'm pretty sure this person goes, to various parts of the country. Traveling seems to be something that he does frequently, and he'll run into people in California or Las Vegas or whatever. And these, the titles of these videos are very straightforward. Once a successful lawyer, now a homeless heroin addict. And he sits and he talks to these people for just a few minutes. And something that has baffled me is that, and I've only watched a small handful, but so far every single one of these people have been able to say, I'm addicted. I know where I fucked up. I know the steps that I would need to take to rectify it, and I just can't bring myself to be sick that long.
Yeah, it's an aversion to the detox.
Yeah, and they know it. And what baffles me about that is I've always felt like if you know that you're a messed up individual, there are some people out there who they do screwed up things. They know they're doing screwed up things. They'll admit that they do screwed up things. If you know you're screwed up, you have the ability to either unfuck or at least swerve the opposite direction of what it is that you're doing that's wrong. I can only assume that people who don't
get me wrong, I don't want to downplay it. I mean, it's horrible. I've detoxed people myself.
Yeah.
More than a dozen. I've seen it close up. I'm very familiar with it. It's wretched, man. It sucks.
No, it absolutely is.
But I would, lay down naked in the middle of A1A and let every old lady in those condos come down in a big line and kick me in the balls for a week if it would give me back my family, my children, my friends' respect, my life. You know what I mean? Because we're not talking about, the color of your hair or a change in wardrobe. We're talking about your actual life.
Yeah.
Because it's just a matter of time before you OD and die, and then all your friends are going to be on Facebook like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And it's like, fuck you mean you can't believe it? That's what happens, it's what happens. You knew they were a junkie, right? They fucking die. That's what they do. And just that and causing all those people pain, I would do anything. I would do anything to get out of that. So yeah, I don't understand it. And a lot of people are like, well, fuck you, Mike, you're not in our shoes. But I have been. One of the many wonderful things I've done in my life was I was a drug addict for a little stretch of time there. And then I woke up one day and I didn't have any fucking money and I went, wow, this is no way to live. And I stopped. I didn't have to go to rehab. I didn't have to go to no damn meetings. I didn't need anybody holding my hand or a sponsor or anything like that. I just said, wow, this fucking sucks and I need to stop. And I stopped. And forever I was like, well, I just stopped. Why can't you? But I realized that not everybody's like me. We all have different ways of processing shit. We all have different ways of looking at shit. I'm not saying mine was better, but it fucking worked. You know what I mean? And so, I don't know. Drug addiction's a weird topic for me to talk about because I have experience with it, a lot of experience on both ends, as the drug addict and as the person who has tried to save the drug addict. I don't understand a lot about it. There's a lot of things about it that I just don't get. But you know what? I don't have to get it. Because I'm not in that situation. A lot of people I know and care about are, and that makes me want to get it. You know what I mean? It makes you want to touch them on the head and be, you are secured and you're saved. Everything's all right. Yeah. Here's the hand of the Lord. But no, man, I can't do that. And that's frustrating. I don't know. It's sad.
It is.
It's just sad. There's so many people that are sweet and loving and honest, and then they just get in the grips of this shit and they just become somebody that you never even thought you knew. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. All I can do is, make sure I don't ever fall back into that again or that my children don't, or, you know what I mean? Granted, it's been, 30 years for me, but I remember it vividly, enough to never ever fall back into it, working like a dog and not having any money sucks, and not being able to pay your rent. Because it's hard for me to talk about drug addiction without coming off like an asshole, because I really just don't get it. You know what I mean? Especially if you don't know that I've been there myself, then I really come off like a fucking asshole. It's like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, I do.
Right.
You know what I mean? I really do. and I don't know. I think it's one of the worst things going on in this world, in this country, in this state, in this fucking town. I think that it's one of the worst things that's going on. I think it's worse than climate change or unemployment or any of the other bullshit that people think is such a huge crisis in this country. I think that the drugs are the biggest crisis in this country.
Well, this is one of the reasons why I really wanted you to be, and I'm glad that you're willing to be part of this podcast, because look, it's my hope that, and I know yours as well, because we did talk about this a little bit, that maybe somebody who not necessarily addiction, maybe they lost a family member, or something, maybe they lost a family pet who's been with them since they were young. Everybody at some point or another, if you live long enough, it's pretty much the only guarantee in life, is that if you live long enough, everybody at some point or another will struggle through something. Some people will make it through, some people unfortunately won't, regardless of what the reason is that they won't. I sometimes think that hearing other people's struggles, or preferably the path that they took to get through their struggles and to maintain or resume a normal life, can help people who can't see the map or can't see the road as clearly themselves.
It's like watching a video on how to make a deck.
Yeah.
I've never made a deck in my life, but if I watched a video and it showed me step by step how to make a deck, I'd make a deck.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. You just got to be, maybe you hear something or get like one little nugget of insight you didn't have before, and it gets you over the hump. You never know.
Yeah.
Certainly worth a shot.
Yeah, absolutely. And the whole thing to me is that you, more than most people I know, over the last few years have gone through just this train of tragedy, more than I think the average person would have handled as well as you did. And that's kind of what I want to talk some about that. Yeah.
Sometimes I step back from it, I step away from it for a minute and I pretend that it's not me, and I think about how staggering it really is. You know what I mean? I mean, everybody accentuates the losses that they have. I mean, I got a homeboy right now that's just losing his shit because his dog died, and I get it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I mean, he loved that dog, and I love my cat. I mean, when my cat Bubba died, I cried like a baby. I mean, I get it. But I mean, as I step back from it and I look at it, it really was like amazingly profound, huge, impactful, and all in one shot, kind of. You know what I mean? I mean, I would say that 10 of the 10 most important people in my life in this world, 5 of them died in a year. And I mean, a kid that I looked at like a son and loved very, very much, and the only woman besides my wife that I think I was ever really truly in love with, and my best friend since I was 7, and my roommate, and my dad, and my wife. I mean, all just, and it all started with my boy Ralphie, and that was something that, I mean, Ralphie died, and I just laid in my bed and ordered Chinese takeout. I mean, I didn't want to work. I didn't want to do anything. It was just a fucking tragedy. I mean, me and that guy go back decades, and I just loved him so much. And I remember thinking that, man, this is like the worst fucking thing that's ever happened to me. Ralphie dying, and I had no idea that was just a warm-up act. And I still think about Ralph all the time, but I had no idea that was just my foot in the pool of pain. You know what I mean? I was just dipping my toes.
Yeah.
And then everybody that had been everything to me for my whole life just, they all just fell away. It's easy to call it insurmountable. I mean, it's easy to go, wow, my life is never going to be the same. There's all kinds of crazy shit that goes through your head. That's why I don't drink anymore, really. Because when I drink, then I'm just like everybody else. I'm mentally and emotionally fallible, and I don't like that. I don't like to be fallible. Fallible people do stupid shit, and they say stupid shit, and they think stupid shit. And I'm still. I was gonna say I've made it through it, but I'm never gonna make it through it. It's gonna be something that I struggle with until the day I die. Because some days you just wake up and it hits you like a wave, that through your whole history. I mean, anybody that's known me over 10 years knows that Mick was my best friend and Marty was my girlfriend and my wife my whole life. Those are my 2 people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for them to be gone and me to still be here, it just seems weird. It just seems weird.
Now, I knew Ralph also.
Wasn't he wonderful, dude?
Yeah, and well, Ralph was one of those people.
Fuck.
He's one of those rare people that if you don't like him, it says more about you than it did about Ralph.
Amen, dude. That guy was a fucking gem.
Yeah, and I mean, look, nobody's perfect, but
Ah.
he would walk into the restaurant, hey, everybody was happy to see him.
Everybody loved Ralphie, dude.
When did you, to give people a little bit of an idea of the history, how old were you when you met Ralph, and how old are you now?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Ralph used to date my cousin, Kelly, when I was 23.
Okay.
I was 23, and I'll be 53 in August. So 30 years. And holy shit, we were party animals back then. And we used to throw down. Me and him and Kelly and Marty, we used to party. And then I didn't see him for a few years, you know. People drifted apart, him and Kelly broke up, you know, and then we like rediscovered each other when I was at Booth's. And man, I mean, everything that I did, he did, and everything that I loved, he loved. And I saw the guy once a week, every week, you know, because we would bet on football and, you know, and come pay up and stuff. And Jesus, I mean, he was just such a part of my routine. And every time I saw the guy smiled, he was just a good damn thing in my life. You know what I mean? A real good thing in my life. That's what he was.
Yeah.
And man, I still miss him to death. And I still think about him all the time. He was just somebody, just a damn shame. You know, it's just a damn shame. He, you know, overcame so much, and then to get hit with being sick too. You know, that's why people were like, oh, you know, religion and God and stuff. And I'm like, man, you mean to tell me there's somebody that's responsible for that? Well, fuck you. You know?
I mean, for some people, I know a lot of people who it brings a lot of, you know, I guess you could say comfort to.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Yeah.
And
Whatever gets you tonight. You know, I mean, different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, when it comes to religion, I'm not a big fan of organized religion. I think there's a lot of hypocrisy in it.
I agree.
I think that if you don't believe in something, then you're foolish. There's too much that can't be explained.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, we are, you know, on a rock spinning around in the middle of space and sustaining life and stuff. So there's more at play than just, you know,
science.
One caveman got really smart and made a bunch of cool shit. Right. That's not the way it went down. You know what I mean?
Well, quantum physics is, and I don't want to touch on this too long, but quantum physics has actually reached a point where they've basically all but said there has to be a God. There has, maybe not God, but there has to be something.
There has to be something.
You know, they say the odds of us being in the exact place that we need to be, not only for this planet to sustain life, but for this planet to sustain life long enough for it to evolve the way it has, is astronomical.
Yeah.
Damn near impossible.
Absolutely. You got to believe in something.
Yeah.
And you know what? I mean, this is the way that it is. I mean, there's the Hindus, the Muslims, the Mormons, the Baptists, the Christians, the Pentecostals, the Hare Krishnas, the fucking Jehovah's Witnesses. There's all these different, you know, religious groups, and only one of them's got it right.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And they all think it's theirs.
Everybody else wrong. Right. Everybody else is wrong. And that's funny to me, because I mean, people start wars. You know, millions have died in the name of religion, and only one group's got it right.
But do they?
Or do they? Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there could be some weirdo out in the swamp worshiping a crocodile, and he's the one that's got it right. You know what I mean? You don't know. And I hate to talk about shit that I don't know about. And that's something that all I can say is that I consider myself a spiritual dude. I don't believe that one smart caveman made a bunch of cool shit. I think that there's so many intangible things. Like, I'm a believer in karma. You know, I believe that what goes around comes around, and that everybody gets, you know, theirs in the end, good or bad. I believe that. And that's an intangible thing that nobody made. That's a force at work.
Right.
And I don't want to say like a supernatural force, but like maybe not even a cosmic force, or, you know, but it's something that a human being did not create. You know what I mean?
I agree.
And I mean, there's just so much stuff that just can't be explained. There's got to be somebody or something.
Right.
But I mean, until, you know, some dude in a robe and sandals comes down and goes, "Yo, homie, it was me." You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. So
anyway,
so you lost Ralph.
Yeah.
Who came after that?
You know what? I lost Ralph, and I got to chew on it for a year. It was just it was so profound to me and so big to me. It really took me a damn year to be okay. I mean, I really did. I thought about him every day. I was fucking depressed for a while. But then a year went by, and then it just started happening like crazy. It just started happening like crazy. My boy Travis from Goodrich's got shot down in Edgewater, and that just ripped the damn heart out of me because I love the kid so much. And then Kelly, you remember Kelly from Boots? I mean, she had been one of my very best friends. I loved her so much. I mean, she was just such an important part of my life. You know what I mean? And she was taken way too early. And then Mick. I don't know. I think I never thought I'd get over that, and I still don't think I will. I just keep him alive and I keep him with me. I mean, it was so sudden. I mean, the guy's younger than me.
Yeah.
And then one day he's got like a bad stomach flu, and the next day he's completely toxic because our organs are shutting down because he's completely filled up with cancer, and he dies, and that's it. And you stand there and cry by his bed for 10 days and watch him fight and know he's not going to make it. And it's just, man, that one fucked me up. I mean, they all hurt you and kill you and take a little piece of you away, but, man, I'm just lost without Mick, even now. I'm just lost without him. Sometimes I just go in his room and sit at his desk and cry. I just, I miss him so fucking much. I take him with me. Our plan was to watch the Marvel movies together, and so I have his urn, with his ashes in it.
I saw that picture. I thought,
yeah, dude.
Really cool.
I went and took him to every single Marvel movie I went to, and we finished it up with the Endgame, and he's with me. You know what I mean? I mean, I really do feel like he's with me. I feel like wherever he is, he's occasionally throwing an eye on me and watching me, and that's really all I can do is just kind of keep him alive, and keep him, in my heart, and I mean, just everybody really, but yeah, I've just we've been inseparable since we were like 7, I mean, not just like a friend that I know that I see everyone. No, we talk every week, every day. We've lived together in 5 different places. We've worked together in 10 different jobs. I mean, that was my brother. That was my life. That was all my history, everything. So that was tough, man. And then the guilt, because I didn't know he was sick, like that. I thought he was just being, Mick, and I wasn't kind to him about going to see a doctor. I was like, look, you asshole, you're not going to lay around here and puke all day. You need to get moving. I got to call your mom. I mean, I was
tough love.
Yeah. I mean, it came from a place of love, and he knew it, and it just sucks to me that the last words I said to him, "Hey, asshole, your mom's here. Get your ass up. Your mom's going to take you to the doctor." I mean, his mom, gave me a say-so in the medical handling of him when he was there in his coma, and they actually let me, have the doctors take him off everything, all the pain meds, everything, just so he could wake up, just so I could get 10 seconds to tell him how much I loved him and how sorry I was. You know what I mean? And I never got that 10 seconds. And, man, I still choke on that to this day. I mean, I would do anything for that 10 seconds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just give that 10 seconds just to tell him how much I loved him, how much he meant to me, how much I'm going to miss him. I mean, it's the shit that I'll never get to say to him that I should have said to him 100 fucking times when he was around, And I never said it. So, it's rough. It's rough.
I can understand.
But I say it more now. I mean, I try to turn my lemons into lemonade. I try to get something positive out of it, and losing Mick like I did has definitely made me appreciate, the few friends that I have left more. It's made me make sure to tell somebody they'll love them, and make sure to let somebody know they're important to me, and be a little more expressive with how I feel, because I know in my heart and soul that Mick knew how much I loved him. I mean, he lived here with me in my house, for God's sake. He was part of my life.
Yeah.
I mean, he was my wife. I brought home the bacon. He took care of the house and the cats. I mean, we shared our lives together. I mean, all of our lives, our whole lives. So I think he knew. I like to think that he knew, but fuck, I should have told him more, and I wish that I would have had one last chance to tell him. I never got that, and that sucked. I still, as you can see, I get a little choked up about it. Still, it's hard to. I carry it around every day.
Yeah.
There's every single day. I sit at that desk. I walk by his room. I look at that urn. I mean, he's with me every day, and it's I don't know. And then my dad, a couple months after that, my dad was my biggest fan, dude. He was at the bar every shift I work. I worked there for 3 years when my dad died, and he missed 2 shifts of mine. I mean, we talked about sports, we talked about beer, we talked about women, we talked about gambling, we talked about everything. And for the fact that he was not really around when I was a kid, for us to be able to have that bond and be what we were to each other, the last 15, 20 years of his life, so thankful for that. You know what I mean?
I can imagine.
And just like I'm thankful that I had a brother like Mick. Someone that loved me and always cared about what I was doing. More than anything. I was always so grateful for it, and I never told him. I mean, maybe I did when we got drunk. But I didn't tell him like I should have. But my dad, I made sure to tell him, because I learned from Mick, and I made sure to tell my dad, how important it was that we were part of each other's lives, and how great it was that he gets to finish up being part of a family, because he was always, kind of a loner, and he had a family, and he checked out on him, and he'd have another family, and he'd check out on him, you know what I mean? He was a rambling, gambling man,
Yeah.
Papa was a fucking Rolling Stone for sure. And, he left a lot of disappointed, women and children in his wake, but in the end, he got it. You know what I mean? In the end, he went out with his children holding his hand when he died. And he was loved. And he's missed now. And I don't necessarily know that would have been the case had he stayed in Ohio, 20 years ago instead of coming down here.
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, it would have probably felt like I don't want to say distant relative, but
Yeah.
a better.
Yeah. I mean, because when my dad died, dude, like, my life changed, my routine changed. Everything was different for me. The shit I did, who I talked to, I woke up every day and called him. You know what I mean? I mean, in the last 5 years of him being sick, I mean, it was an everyday thing. He was part of my everyday existence. I took him to the hospital. I took him to the doctor. I mean, I mean, he was part of my routine. Just like Mick. And so it was a lot different when he died. He was suffering though, and I'm glad he's not anymore. You know what I mean? But I miss having somebody that was proud of me. You know what I mean? Somebody that was like, that's my son and he's doing good and I'm proud of him. That's a comforting feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you, I mean, you're very close to your father. You understand? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I miss that. I miss a lot about him. You know what I mean? But I more than anything, I miss having somebody on my side like that.
Well, it's funny you bring up how close my father and I are. Like, I have no desire to turn, any episode in the future or now of this podcast into something about me. But I consider myself to be someone who has very few fears in life. I don't want to die. I'm not afraid of it. One of my greater fears is, I'm a musician. I use my hands for everything. I worry about the possibility of one day being in a, paralyzed or vegetative state where the mind is still active but the body doesn't want to cooperate.
Yeah, I couldn't live like that.
No, but I'll tell you the one thing that screws me up when I think about it is, like, I'll watch movies or TV series where a father and a son are real close, and did you see Fringe?
don't think so.
A great show. Amazing show. One of my favorites.
No, TV show? No, I never saw it.
No, it was great.
I was like, is that a movie or something?
No, you should absolutely check it out. It would be up your alley, I promise. But there's a father and son who are really close in there. And, they get into some, oh my God, my son's going to die. Or, oh my God, my dad's going to die. And it's not like an action movie where they're like, we got this. No, dude, they're fucking crying. They feel this. And, yeah, I'm sitting there rewatching the series for the third time, and I'm still like, because I'm invested in these characters.
Yeah.
And I think about, me and my dad. And, a lot of people, they don't understand the relationship between my father and I. We were almost killed together in a car accident when I was 4. I know people who left the military. One of my best friends, was in the Army, honorably discharged with a Purple Heart after an injury. And even he told me, you guys are my best friends. I consider you family. I love you all to death. You'll never understand the bond that I had with those people over there, and it's not even your fault. But when you're trying every day not to die, when you are with a group or a small amount of people who are, back to back, trying to keep each other alive, it changes things. So, when you talk about...
Like the survivors of the Poseidon Adventure.
You can make me look uneducated on my own podcast. I have no idea what you're talking
You ever
about.
saw the Poseidon Adventure, for God's sake?
No.
Boat turned upside down. People had to go from the top of the boat up to the bottom of the boat. Started off with like 20 of them, ended up with like 6 of those motherfuckers ended up making it.
No.
And they were all like, we're down for life now. That's Poseidon Adventure?
Sorry. The disappointment is real, I can see.
Yeah, I probably just dated the fuck out of myself, but whatever.
Well, what I was going to say is, I didn't know your dad terribly well. But I saw him every now and then. I spoke to him once every blue moon when I saw him at the bar.
He was a cool guy.
Yeah, the stories that you would tell me. You want to get it? Check it real quick?
I don't want to check it, but I'll turn it off.
Oh!
Alright, I got the do not disturb on now, sorry.
No, it's all good. You had posted not all that long ago a status on Facebook. You were at the VA hospital in the waiting room for your father, and you could hear him in the other room. Can you remind me what that story was?
That was great.
I laughed my ass off.
Yeah, it was one of the best videos I ever put up. Well, he didn't do anything they told him to do. They told him to eat his medication at a certain rate. He wouldn't do it. The dude thought he was a pharmacist. He was like, oh, I know better than them. I'm like, they went to college and stuff. You know what I mean? You're like...
This is what they do, Dad.
Yeah, you're like a dude who sits in a bar and drinks vodka. What the fuck do you know? But I could say stuff like that to him
and be okay.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't laugh, but I would laugh. But anyway, but this chick, this nurse, she was like this really stern foreign chick, like definitely Northern Europe. I want to say, I mean, she sounded German. She could have been Austrian. I don't even fucking know. All I know is that she was reading him the fucking riot act. You have not quit smoking. You are not doing your medicine like you must. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm sitting out in the hallway listening to this going, oh, he's in trouble now. And then I decided to make a little video and laugh about it with all my friends. Man, she was tearing him up. And when I went in there, and like she had him like strapped up and all this stuff, his eyes were like really big. You know what I mean? Like she was giving him the shakedown, man. It was the most awesome thing ever. And then so we're sitting there and she's like just tearing him up. And I'm just like smiling at him. You know, I'm not saying nothing because I don't want her to see me smiling. Turn around on me. I had a pack of cigarettes in my pocket too. And then she finally steps out of the room. I go, now do you understand? And he's like, fuck you. And I'm like, man, that's the greatest day of my life. Yeah. I liked it when bad stuff happened to him.
That's a fucked up thing to say.
Well, I mean, not like bad stuff like, you know, like when he got COPD and died. I didn't like that. You know what I mean? But like one time we were leaving Vegas and he was in his wheelchair. And we were coming when we went. Because unfortunately, when I'm on vacation, I don't shave. And when I was shaved for like 3 or 4 days, I look like a Middle Eastern terrorist, unfortunately. So I'm straight into the scanner every fucking time. You know what I mean? So we were leaving Daytona Beach Airport. He goes through. My little white bread daughter walks through. Boom, I go right in the scanner. I'm like, but that's my family. And no, in the scanner, right? He just thought it was the funniest thing ever. He's in his wheelchair. I'm like, yeah, that's great. So we're leaving Vegas. I walk through the thing. My daughter walks through the thing. They decide he looks a little suspicious in his wheelchair. Next thing you know, there's like 6 little Filipino dudes with a bunch of plastic gloves converging on him. Seriously. I mean, they were like reaching down in his pants. I mean, everything. And the look on it, he looked like Bambi right before he got run over by a car. He was like, and I was like doing the little happy dance. And when the little dude turned around and looks at me, and he's like, "Everything all right, sir?" I go, "Yeah, carry on, please." But they were swarming him, and he was traumatized. And it made my whole trip to Vegas, honestly. I mean, I laughed all the way back to Florida. I couldn't believe it. It was the funniest thing ever.
Make sure you check in between
Yeah. Yeah. And my daughter's like, "Dad, you suck." And I'm like... He was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with him, but the one thing that I'll always be happiest to say about my dad was that everybody liked him. Nobody had a bad word to say about the guy. I mean...
Except for that nurse.
Yeah, but even she liked him too. But I mean, like me, I consider myself a good person, but people got bad shit to say about me all the time. You know, I mean, not because I've done anything to them, but just because they do us that way, you know? I mean, sometimes you don't have to do bad things to people to have shit talked about you, but nobody ever had a bad word to say about my dad. And that's something that I just thought was impressive and amazing, and I was just really happy and proud about that all the time.
Now, if you're willing, I want to loop back just a little bit because... so far we've covered a couple of interesting, pains. We'll say loss of best friends. That's a different kind of pain than the loss of your father.
Yeah.
I want to loop back to Kelly for a second, if you're willing, because that was, as close as you and I are. Like, I got no problem telling you, you're one of my best friends. I love you to death. I'll always be there for you. But very rarely have I ever actually seen you express such. I guess deep-seated pain and regret. I mean, this was a different kind of love. That there's a very different kind of pain that comes from losing someone you love like that versus losing someone you love like a friend or like family.
Yeah.
Like, you guys had kind of an interesting history. Can you give us a quick background of that, if you're willing?
Yeah, I mean, there's really not much to say. We just decided we were one of the greatest people that the other person had ever met in their entire lives, and latched onto each other and stayed that way. I mean, there was a lot of other stuff at play, but in the end, I mean, she supported me. As long as she was alive, there was always somebody in the world who gave a shit about what was happening with me. Number one, I mean, she would literally give me the shirt off of her fucking back. I mean, I've seen her sleep on the floor so someone else could sleep in her bed. When I opened my pizza place, she ordered pizza off me every day, and I would look and see like boxes of it in her refrigerator. I'm like, "You're not even eating this shit." You know what I mean? She was just, that's what kind of person she was. She was really special, and I mean, we could never get it together, but I loved her, very much, and she loved me very much. But I mean, I don't know. I just think that life is cruel sometimes, And losing Kelly, it changed a lot for me too. I mean, you always think that, someone's gonna be there forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I always thought that me and Kelly would be friends forever, and because I was, older than her, I always thought, it'd be her crying at my funeral. I never thought it would be me crying at hers. I never thought that,
Well, yeah, I know you remember, tell everybody who's watching or listening. I knew Kelly very, very little. I worked with her for a little while.
She was awesome, dude.
Yeah, she, what I remember of her, she was an absolute sweetheart.
Yeah, man.
But I think... I think you can tell a lot about the kind of life or the kind of person that somebody was from the reaction and the kind of company they have at a funeral. And, I was there taking pictures, which was really awkward. I've done parties.
Yeah, but you did a good job there, though, and those pictures were really awesome.
Well, thank you. But it was, I remember thinking, I feel like such an asshole because my job here is to capture the memory of this funeral, and there's some smiles, there's some laughs, but most everybody is crying, and it took me. It took time. Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I that whole funeral was pretty much a blur to me until The only thing I really remember vividly is when I spoke at the end, which I wasn't going to do.
I'm glad you did.
But I wasn't gonna. I was just gonna sit my ass in the back, and be the dude she used to know. I mean, her parents knew, about me, and her good friends, and her sister. But I was just happy to just be there, and let her know, that I was there for her, and just the way that things went with what people were saying and what they were focusing on. I felt like somebody needed to step up there and actually give a true testament to her as a person. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I was going to say. It took me time to remove myself from the situation enough to start looking past the pictures I was taking and realizing, you may have been the only one who gave a true testament of the kind of person she was. But
I had to.
It was very evident how much everybody loved her, though.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, when you love somebody and they get taken away, it's natural to want to blame.
Right.
People, you know what I mean? It's natural to lash out. It's natural to
explain for them,
to want to have somebody accountable.
Explain for them, if you would, what people were lashing out at, why people were upset, what it is that you had to clear up.
Well, Kelly was in an accident. She suffered a severe head injury, and as a result, she had seizures. And she was prescribed a lot of medication, including anesthesia medication, pain medication, to where, as is a story with a lot of people that get prescribed that stuff, it's hard to control just right, and sometimes it gets away from you, and it got away from her, a little bit. And, I mean, man, we're talking like just a small fraction of time in her life that was the issue, you know what I mean? And the theme of that kind of overshadowed everything else. It's like they all lost track of who she was before that. You know what I mean? Of the little girl she was growing up, of the teenager that she was, of the young woman that she was, and I mean, it was just one small little period, and I understand it was a bad period, and I understand it was painful. It was painful for me to watch her go through it also. I mean, I was, I was unhappy, about the way that things were sometimes, but I always knew that, she was still the same person, and I didn't want the last words to be said about her to be about this small period of her life. You know what I mean? I didn't think that was fair, and that's why I got up and spoke, because I wasn't going to have that be the last thing that anybody said about her. I just wasn't. And when it was over, I didn't hang out. I didn't want to hang out. I think I was cried out. I was just drained. I don't even know. But I just got in my car, and I said goodbye to her family and everything. And I left. And I looked up through my sunroof on the way out. I said, I got you, man. I just felt like I could just do her that one last solid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes I think that I'm doing the right thing and I'm not. Sometimes I think I'm doing the right thing and I am. I'm always going to look at that as one time that I thought I was doing the right thing and it was. Do you know what I mean?
It's not easy being human.
No, but I tell you what, and I believe this with my heart and soul, that she would have done the same thing for me. That God forbid that there was a funeral for me, and people lost their way in the narrative of what they were supposed to be going up there and talking about her, and end up talking about this. She would have slapped somebody.
Makes you feel any better if that day ever comes. I promise to be that person for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
He was an asshole. He was fucking funny.
Yeah, I was fucking funny. But I mean, no, I mean, just I don't know. That one, I mean, I still got a picture on my desk. I look at her every day.
Yeah, I think you have the candle, right?
Yeah, the candle, yep. And this is brutal. It was just so brutal. It was just, ugh.
So, when, and I know we're not done with the list, but when you go through, what was that, 2 years? From Mick to your father?
Oh, hell no, God.
No?
No.
No, I'm sorry, from Ralph to your father.
Yeah.
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 And then from
a year and a half.
And so then from Mick to your father was what, 6 months, something like that?
Yeah, not even. Yeah.
When you start dealing with a situation where pieces are falling one after the other like that, I hate to put it that way. I'm sorry.
That's fucking the way it is.
Yeah, I mean,
there's really no other way to put it.
What kind of things cross your mind as the survivor? Like,
you start getting scared about wondering who's next. To be honest with you, I mean, dude, when you have children, that shit is scary as fuck. Because you get scared. You get scared of. You start to think anything can happen, and then after like 3 or 4 of the people that you've loved the most in your life go, then you start looking at life a little bit differently. Because I'm going to tell you, dude, and it's going to sound like kind of like a bitch thing, but I mean, Marty was like the last, tie to my life, of my long time, history. I mean, I have my sister and my mother, and my grandmother, of course, and of course in my later years, my children. But I mean, my day-to-day, see you every day, you're the biggest part of my life. I mean, after Marty passed away, man, I felt adrift. I mean, I felt like not so much alone. I mean, because, I have a good relationship with my family and with my children, you know what I mean? And my friends, of course. But I didn't feel like the same guy. I didn't feel tethered down like I always did, because it's always been them, you know what I mean?
Can you explain for them who Marty was and like a brief summary of your history, son?
Yeah, just she's my wife, mother of my kids. We got together when I was a teenager. She was a teenager. We were together off and on for 28 years. Married for over half of that. She was, my person, the love of my life, the be all end all in my world.
If I may be so bold, one thing that always really, really impressed me about the two of you was that, you were separated.
Yeah.
For 8 years, something like that.
7.
7.
7.5. Yeah.
And she was at every comedy show.
Yeah.
She was at every event. She was.
Yeah.
You guys have to be closest to the most amicable separation that I'd ever seen. And even though it didn't start that way for the first, I think it was like a year.
Oh, I mean,
the support was there. It was inspiring in some ways.
There's still a lifetime of love there. I mean, just because we can't make it be what makes us both ideally happy, because when Marty decided that we needed to separate, a lot of people, were like, oh, that's fucked up. How could you do that? You guys been together forever, blah blah. I mean, dude, she's just like trying to enjoy what's left of her life. She's trying to make herself happy. I mean,
yeah. You
can't fault someone for that. You might be able to fault yourself for not being what makes them happy, but maybe that's not necessarily your bag either. Who knows? You know what I mean? I mean, the separation was really hard on me because she's all I knew for so long, I mean, but in the end, she was just trying to get the most she could out of her time, and I live the same exact way, so I can't fault her for that, and I did for a little bit, you know what I mean, but I got over it quickly, and I was just glad to know her and glad to love her and glad that she was part of my life, and glad that she was just right across the bridge anytime I needed her, and we actually spoke 2 days before she passed away, and she said, you're still my person, right? And I said, yeah, you're still mine. So I mean, I was thankful for what we had all the way through.
Would you mind explaining what happened? I think that was probably the most shocking part.
I mean, house caught on fire and she didn't make it out. I mean, it's just I was just sitting here. I worked. I got off work about 2:30. I came home. I was sitting in my room playing my video game, watching TV, and there's a knock on the door at like 4 o'clock. I'm like, what the fuck? And I got into the cops, Port Orange cops.
4 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, and I was like, oh Jesus, what's going on? Freaking out. and they asked me, if I own the property, and I said, yeah. What's going on? And they said, there's been a structure fire. And I said, is my wife okay? And they were like, okay, we need to go, no, is my wife okay? And they kept trying to talk. I'm like, tell me if my fucking wife's okay. And they said, well, there's a unidentified body at the scene. And it felt like somebody it felt like somebody pulled the earth out from underneath me, not just the rug, like the earth. Like I kind of fell back into the chair. I didn't hear what he said for a few minutes after that. Nothing really registered, you know what I mean? And I'll tell you, through it all, I've been stunned. I mean, when Kelly's mom called me about her, I was stunned. You know what I mean? I did this. I tried to
Stammered.
I stammered a little bit. I tried to talk and I couldn't get it out. And when I heard about Travis and I heard about Ralph, the same thing. It felt like somebody punched me in the gut. And Mick. I held out hope for Mick to the very end, and only in the last day or two was it evident he wasn't going to make it. You know what I mean? But this was like the ultimate sucker punch out of left field. It's like the last fucking thing I expected someone to come to knock on my door and tell me. I was at the house 15 minutes later. All I kept saying to the cop was, I have to tell my daughter. I have to tell my daughter. I have to tell my daughter. And he's like, well, look, we'll put you in a patrol car and we'll take you there and we'll have grief counselors. And I'm like, no, I'll take care of it. Thanks, but no. And then I went there and I saw, and it's the worst fucking thing that's ever happened to me my whole life. And that's saying something. Especially after the year I had, it's the worst thing that's ever happened to me my whole life.
What kind of things cross your mind when you're standing in front of the house you used to live in that condition, knowing what just happened?
I started thinking about everybody else. I called her sister, Marilyn. I called my sister. I hopped into what I do is I don't make it about me. I try to I have that aversion, like we were talking about the drug addicts, they don't want to get sick. I don't want to face my own, I don't want to make myself cope with it, so I throw myself into tasks. I'm task oriented. I'm going to take care of this, I'm going to take care of that. I'm going to take care of you, I'm going to talk to you, I'm going to make sure I'm around you. I push it out instead of bringing it in. Do you know what I mean? It's a fucked up coping mechanism. It works for me, so far. I wanted to go tell my daughter. I wanted to go tell my daughter, and then I wanted to start being there for her and helping her heal through it. I just was laser focused on her, honestly.
That had to be one of the worst parts too. Like as a father,
absolutely the worst thing I've ever done in my entire life, hands down. And I've done some hard things. I've done some terrible things. I've done some heartbreaking things. I've made some rough choices. I've made some rough calls. I've been through it in my life. That is the absolute worst thing that I've ever had to do. There's no question. There's no question. And I was going to go do it by myself. And Marty's sister Marilyn and Billy, her husband, and my sister Patty and her husband Colin were like, we'll come with you. And the five of us went. And they just stood behind me and telling her what happened. I know I had to do it, you know what I mean? There's no one else that they could have done it, but fuck man, it's the worst thing I've ever done. I hope I never have to do anything like that ever again. Honestly, I just it's so easy to just look at it all and be hurt by it, you know what I mean? It's because it's all right there. It's all right in front of you. We're still working on getting that house rebuilt. It's there. It's fresh every day. And it's easy to say. fuck, it's just going to be impossible to be happy today because this happened, you know? It's easy. And I'm not going to lie to you, dude. I mean, sometimes I wake up and I still, the first thing I think of is if it's real or not. You know what I mean? I still have to, like, you know, pinch myself to make sure I'm not dreaming, but not in a good way, you know? Because I really do wish that I was still dreaming it, you know?
I remember stopping by the house one day to see you, not all that long after it happened. And what is to this day probably one of the most, I don't want to say surprising, but for lack of a better term, surprising things that you ever told me, just because it isn't like you, was that the only reason you're still here today and breathing is because your kid needs you. And I remember thinking, wow, that's a whole new level of bad for him. That's not ever been in him.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. She was pretty much the straw that broke the camel's back.
Understandable.
And I mean, I've been so strong, and I've just muscled through. You know, I've cried by myself. I've put my smile on. I'm gone to deal with these drunk assholes at the bar. You know, and you know, I stood up on stage and I've smiled and I've laughed and I tried to make other people laugh. You know, but that was a straw that broke the back, dude. I couldn't. I just wanted to be where she was, you know, and where he was, and where my dad was, and where, you know, Kelly and Travis and Ralphie were, and, you know, I just wanted to, you know, I don't.
Home.
Yeah, and yes, another reason why I don't drink anymore, because I can't have those thoughts, because I have now I have 2 daughters that need me, you know, and a mama who deserves better than that, and, you know, a sister that loves me, and friends that, you know, I don't want to cause that kind of pain to, and I don't think any of them would want that from me. You know what I mean? I think that all of them would be, no, dude, you're still there, dummy. You got time. And fucking start, man, enjoy yourself. You know, you get hit by a bus in a week, you got a week to live it up. I mean, no matter what. And that's why I live the way I do, because, you know, when it is my turn, I mean, I think that I've gotten my money's worth out of this life anyway, honestly. I think that I've had more fun and seen more things and done more stuff and loved more people and laughed more. You know, I mean, I think that I definitely understood what life was about at an early age and certainly attacked it with that approach. You know what I mean? I have had a good time, you know, in my life.
That's important.
Huh?
I think that's important.
It's the only thing we're fucking here for, if you really think about it, dude. We're not here to sulk. We're not here to cry. We're not here to suffer. We're not here to moan. We're here to enjoy the spark that's within this sack of bones and flesh. You know what I mean? There's still a spark in there. Enjoy it any way you can. Do you know what I mean? And I got that early. And I got to admit, you know, for someone who's always lived his life to be happy and lived his life to, you know, get what he could out of it, this has been a test.
Yeah.
It's been a test, and it's been, you know, it's been difficult. But I can't take my eye off the ball. I'm still here.
Yeah.
I'm still here. And wherever they are, if they're watching me, you know, they want me to, you know, be here as long as I can. They want me to put these fucking things down. You know what I mean? They want me to get my fat ass in the gym once in a while. They want me to, you know, to catch that sunset, you know, to check in on my grandma, you know, to love my children, to get what they don't get a chance to get anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that kind of propelled me into, you know, trying to move forward. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, like I said, it'd be easy to just roll over and die with it. You know, I don't fear death anymore. I fear what will happen to my children after I'm gone. But yeah, I got my people are all over there now, pretty much, except for, you know, my family, my children. They're, you know, my life is on the other side. So it's weird. It's weird, but I'm content to just plod forward without having that fear of death, you know, when it does come, and just live it the fuck up while I am here, you know, and make sure that my children are okay, you know. And I mean, you know, my daughter is just just now starting to be able to where she can make it. She still has bad days, just like me, but we've been there for each other, like really been there for each other,
Yeah.
I mean, just on the phone as soon as it happens. I mean, talking to each other off the ledge, I mean, I believe that we, like I said, you're never fully done, but I think that we have pulled each other through the worst of it, and now we're just, a couple of, occasionally really sad people, but I think that we're going to be able to do the best thing that we can for Marty, and that's, enjoy what's left of our life and keep her alive in our heart, She's right up there on the mantle. I pass her every day. Sometimes I give her a wink, sometimes I give her a smile, sometimes I even pat her, I do.
I like that though.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just, as long as you keep people alive in your heart, they're never really gone. But I had to make the choice. I had to choose to move forward. I had to choose to, to move past it. I had to choose to survive it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, I could handle it or let it handle me is basically what it came down to. And like I said, I don't like being anybody's victim. I don't like to be the object of anybody's pity. I didn't want anybody to feel bad for me. I'm not special. I got it all in a big shot. One big shot after another. I did get it like that. I did. But we're all going to be there one day. And if I can survive that year and that amount of loss and that stripping away of my foundation of fucking people in my circle, the utter decimation of my fucking circle, if I can survive that, I can survive anything. I mean, I it's a choice. I chose to be okay. And it's work, because when I wake up and I think about what I've lost and what I used to have and what I'll never have again, and I think about, the things I never got to say, I never got to do, and all the time that I wasted and now it's gone and I'll never get it back. It's a tough pill to swallow. It'll whoop your ass if you let it. You know what I mean? I mean, we'll whoop your ass if you let it. And I just don't want to let it. I find something else to focus on. I think about the good shit. You know what I mean? I'm thankful for what I had with them. And the love I had with them and the time that I had with them, and I focus on that.
We got through all the tragedy. Talked in detail about pretty much every person to some degree.
Yeah.
I think we kind of glanced over.
I can talk about them all fucking night.
Yeah,
but
as long as you've known all these people, it doesn't surprise me.
But that's not really. I think that the point has come across, just how important they were to me, how much I loved them, and how much pain their losses caused me. And that's basically the point we want to get across, I guess.
So now what I want to know, those details are all really important to me for the podcast, because I want people who are watching or listening to understand, like, you didn't just lose a pet, you didn't just lose a neighbor. Like, these people were your core. They were part of you.
They were everything.
So then you reach a point where you have to realize, it's time to start rebuilding. It's time to start swimming through the muck and getting through.
Yeah, a lot is different now.
Yeah, so tell me about how you got there, or how you were getting there.
Well, I'll tell you the first thing that I did, and I didn't do it consciously. It just happened. I think that my brain was, because like at Marty's funeral, it was the first time that I'd really gotten drunk since she passed, and it wasn't good. It wasn't good. The pain was a little overwhelming. I didn't really give a fuck about really anything. It was just, it was not good. So the first thing that happened was I fucking quit drinking, which, not quit drinking like a teetotaler, like I'm not having a drink at all. But anybody who knows me will tell you that on my nights off, I'm at Mets every night. Spending $30, $40, $50, which at Mets is enough to get you fucked up. And I would drink, normally as just, because I have nothing else to do. I'm a single guy living on his own, I drink. I go out with my friends, I play darts, I drink. I don't, drive drunk. I don't have problems related to alcohol, unless you like look at some of the really terrible songs that I put on Facebook when I'm hammered. But I mean, I think I didn't trust myself to drink anymore, because I dismiss them all so much, and it's just things get amplified with alcohol, and this is not good. So that just kind of fell by the wayside. Like, 30 good years of alcoholism, man, just down the fucking drain, So that, I think that helped me out a little bit, because I'm able to remain lucid, and I'm able to remain in control of how I feel and what I say and what I do, and that goes back to happiness being a choice, which is what I feel. I feel that if you choose to be happy, you'll be happy. You know what I mean? I was happy in prison. I had a good time. You know what I mean? You know why? Because I wanted to. Because I'm the kind of guy that have a good fucking time anywhere. And that's just who I've been, because I'm committed to it. I'm committed to having a good time. I'm committed to being happy. And like I said, this has been a test. It really is. And it was months before I could catch myself smiling or laughing again and not feel so incredibly guilty about it. About cracking a smile or telling a joke or being happy. I would feel guilty about it, and it took months before that went away. I just had to work through it and just have faith that one day I'd be able to have a good time and be happy and laugh and smile and not feel guilty about it. And that day has been here for a while, but I just had to keep pushing. I made a choice, not so much for me, but I mean, totally for me, but for my daughter, because pulling her through this has really been my main motivation. Getting myself through it's kind of been secondary, but again, I know this is going to sound unbelievable after everything that I've just said, but it's just as big a loss, if not a bigger one, for Lauren and for Marty's sister Marilyn as it was me. I mean, we all lost quite a bit, and Lauren and I have a good relationship, and we love each other very much, and we're good. We do not have the relationship that she had with her mom. I mean, they're fucking like this, dude. You know what I mean? So making sure that Lauren understands that I'm always going to be here for her and that she's not alone in this, and pulling her through this has been my definite main motivation. When you have children, it's easy to fucking get your shit together and push forward. Although I would not say easy, I would say it's mandatory that you do it. There's no option. When people talk about killing themselves, to me, the first thing out of my head is, well, what the fuck? You got kids. You know what I mean? You got fucking kids. And when you have kids, things change. Pulling my kid through this has taken away any thoughts of me, being anything close to weak. I can't be weak. I'm not a weak guy by nature anyway. Sometimes I feel pretty weak when I think about the shit, you know what I mean? Sometimes it hits you in a wave and you feel weak. But I look at that picture of my daughter on my desk and I push forward, because she needs me to get her, back to good too. And she's done so good. I'm so proud of her. She's tougher than she thinks, and she's tougher than I thought she would be. And she's going to be okay. And as much as I love to, go, yeah, that's all me. I did that. No, I've done my part, but she's doing what I'm doing and pulling herself through it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there's some things she gets from me. Some things that she gets from me, and I think that that's probably the one that I'm most proud of, is that she has a strength within her, and I think that's going to propel her through this. But my work's not done. I'm gonna, that's why I went from the cowboy killers to these I can't fucking taste you, but I can't taste you. But I mean, I'm gonna put these damn things down, and I am gonna try to be around for her as long as I can. And I really like cigarettes, but I'm gonna do it for her. I am gonna do it for her, and I'm gonna try to just always be around as long as I can for her. Dude, when you think about shit like that, then hey, I'm gonna let my loss kick my ass doesn't factor in. It doesn't factor in. I can't. It's not a fucking option for me. I can't just say, I think today's the day I'm just gonna roll over and die because I just can't fucking take how sad I am anymore. No, man, can't do that. I have fucking kids. You know what I mean? And even if I didn't have kids, I still couldn't do that. I couldn't. I could roll the dice There's a big magical clubhouse for us all up in the sky where everybody's just waiting. You know what I mean? I could do that.
Big welcome party.
Sure, dude. Where you been, Mike? It's about time. We're all together again. Yay.
Yeah.
Maybe. But this right here, this life, this is guaranteed. I'm here now. You know, and there's, you know, there is much for me to do and enjoy and you know, and accomplish. You know, and love to give and laughs to share and fucking hugs to give out and children to watch grow and maybe grandchildren to play with one day. I mean, who knows? But it's a here and now thing, and every single person that I've lost, like I said, is looking at me and pushing me to keep doing exactly what I've done for my whole life, which is squeeze every single drop out of it every single day and get every single bit of joy and happiness out of my time that I can, and I'm committed to that. And I mean, it's like I said, it's a tough test, man. Tough test trying to maintain that commitment with what I've lost and what my life is now without the people that have always been in it. But I can be this new guy and still be committed to it. You know, I mean, you're here on this earth to fucking enjoy the little time you got. You know, I mean, people just don't understand that. You know, if something sucks for you, fucking change it. You know, if you fight with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, get a fucking another boyfriend or girlfriend. Be single. If your job sucks and you hate it, get another fucking job. Make the changes you got to make in your life to ensure that you're getting the most out of your time. And that's what I've done. I work at a job that I love. I used to work 4 days, now I work 3. You know, I play a video game. I used to play a video game that had me sit at my desk for 8-10 hours a day.
Yeah, I remember those days.
Yeah.
Hurry up and format my computer. I got a place to be.
Yep. And now I got a video game I can log on for 10 minutes at a time on my phone. You know, and I spend a lot of time out of my back deck. I get sun, I read, I watch a lot of TV, I watch a lot of movies. I do the little fucking things that make my, you know, docile ass happy. I have a buddy I go up and I throw darts with him once in a while. But for the most part, I'm a homebody. I find all the joy and happiness that I need right here. Because I have it in my head that I'm going to be happy, and I find the things that make me happy and I fucking do them. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's and you know what? And the things that don't make me happy, I don't do them. You know what I'm saying? Fighting with a girlfriend, not today, not tomorrow. You know what I mean? I'm single because I don't want to fight with anybody. You know, I don't want the hassle and the bad shit that comes with a relationship. I don't want to be jealous of anybody. I don't want anybody to be jealous of me. I don't want to lie to anybody. I don't want anybody to lie to me. You know what I mean? I don't want to disappoint anybody or make them sad. I don't want anybody to disappoint me or make me sad. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm single. Plus, I mean, I had my, you know, love of my life thing, and it's gone, and that stage of my life is over. Do you know what I mean? So I'm single and I'm happy about it. You know, and I mean, I have children. I'm not going to die alone. You know, I mean, I'm okay with it because I've told myself that this is the way that for me to be happiest.
I actually wanted to bring that up because I remember you telling me that something unexpected that, you know, never in a million years crossed your mind that actually really pushed you forward, you know, even just that little bit more, was you were rediscovered by, you know, a daughter long since, I don't want to say gone, but, you know, not part of your life.
Yeah.
How was that?
When I was in the military, I came home on leave and got Marty pregnant, and the baby got put up for adoption while I was overseas, and I wasn't put on the birth certificate, and it was sealed adoption, and you know, there was really shit I could do about it. I knew she was out there, and she found us. After Marty passed away, she found us.
How did that happen, and what runs through your mind? Like,
what runs through my mind?
Yeah.
It was really funny because Lauren found out before me because Dana, who's my other daughter, found Marty's sister Marilyn on Facebook, contacted her. Marilyn told Lauren. Lauren came over here with like, I got to talk to you. I got to tell you something. It was like this really hardcore thing, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, you're pregnant, you know? You know? No, she wasn't pregnant. She's like, oh my God, I have a sister, and I was like, I know. You know?
Nonchalant. Just,
yeah.
Yeah, I know. So.
I knew, and I think, you know, again, talking about the religion thing, that somehow, some way, and it's a lot of pressure on Dana too, because here's me and Lauren and Marilyn with these huge fucking gaping holes in our heart where Marty used to be, and then something, maybe Marty, maybe the guy with the robe and the sandals, you know, maybe Odin, who fucking knows? Somebody, some kind of force brought her to fill those gaps up a little bit. You know what I mean? Which is a lot of pressure on her and kind of sucks. But to us, talk about a big help. Talk about getting us over the hump. Talking about helping pull us through. Putting that fucking hand to pull us out of the fog. I mean, we're just all over the moon about it, you know? And if you look at the fucking kid, she looks just like me. I mean, it's crazy. You know, I mean, and she kind of looks like her mom too. I mean, it's really weird to look at her, you know, but weird in a good way. You know what I mean? It's weird in a good way. We just, it's just like, just with all the bad, it was just so great to have something good, you know?
Yeah.
And we're all very thankful. I mean, that's just the only word I can think of is just thankful.
Are there any kind of nerves associated with trying to, you know, rekindle a relationship with a person that you've never known but shares your DNA?
Yeah, I was going to say, to rekindle, you must have once had a relationship.
All right, fair enough.
We're total fucking strangers. But, no. I don't feel like we're strangers now. And, you know, it's only been a few months. I feel like it's like anything else. If you apply yourself to it, it'll happen. And I've definitely committed to applying myself to building a good relationship with her, and treating her, you know, just like I treat Lauren, and, you know, seeing her, you know, just as I see Lauren. I mean, you know, it's not, you know, I mean, it's not her fault she wasn't here for the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
But she's here now.
Now, this is probably going to sound like kind of a double-edged question. It's okay to not answer. But has there been any kind of, like, I mean, I'm just going to give you a stupid analogy, but, you know, heartfelt disagreements where it's like, I love wrestling, and she's like, that shit's fucking lame. Oh my God, no. Like, things that you think, that wouldn't happen if I was around.
I can't help but feel that there's a little jab in there at me, and you're making fun of me for liking wrestling.
A little bit.
Okay.
It's just a small amount. It was the most lighthearted thing I could think of that you might disagree about.
Okay. I wouldn't say we've had any arguments. I mean, some shit has come up where we haven't seen things the same way, but we talk about it, you know, and I explain my point of view, and she explains hers, and we try to put each other in each other's shoes, and it's worked out just fine. I think that I think we're like-minded people, and I think that she's a very smart girl, and I, of course, am a very smart guy, and I think that that logic and rational and a commitment to not fighting will save the day and carry us through.
So let me paint a intentionally bleak but realistic picture, not necessarily pertaining to your life, but there are people, you know, who are in situations like this that I know. So, you know, as it turns out, your path back to some form of normality or hanging on there while strongly rooted was relatively simple. I need to stick around for my kid. You know, I need to be here for my kid, for my people. Oh, holy shit, now I have another kid again. More reason to stay around. Yeah. You know, and that's simplifying. That's overly simplifying.
I mean, like I said, it's a shitload of unfair pressure on her.
Yeah.
But wow, yeah, she really did help us all three of us. All because I mean, I'm not trying to be like overly bleak, but we were like three lost puppies. I mean, we are everything, you know. I mean, it was just gone, you know. And then boom, like out of nowhere, here's like part of it back. You know what I mean? I mean, when you look at her, you see Marty, you know what I mean? And it's not fair to her because she's just Dana, you know what I mean? I mean, she didn't ask for, you know, to come here and be our emotional savior, you know what I mean? And you know, and to be fair, I mean, when she got here, we kind of overwhelmed her with it, you know, I mean, we were like, oh, blah, 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 everything. And she was like, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So let's say... Basically, what I was getting at is, you know, again, not to overly simplify your path, but you had a core structure, you had a core value, a core path.
Yeah.
If somebody were to approach you, and let's say they said, I'm not in a position to be able to leave my job. If I leave, there's nobody, I have no friends, I have no family, nobody who can help me. If I leave this job, I will be out on the streets within a week. But I hate my job, but at least it allows me to eat and clothe myself. But I've just lost, my mother, my sibling couldn't hang in there and committed suicide. I've always been kind of an introvert. Obviously, I don't have the spare money to go out and pursue distracting interests or hobbies. I am days away from just ending it all. I literally cannot see through the fog enough to see any reason to stick around other than to continue to feed and clothe myself. And oh, by the way, I have no kids that are worth sticking around for.
Yeah.
Keep me alive? What do you suggest? How do I get through it?
I would tie you to a chair until you told me something that you liked. And that would make you go do it with me. Whatever it was. Even if it was something, silly.
Let's say this person's, and that's great. Let's say this person can't approach you physically and say that.
I believe that there is something worth waking up for every day for everybody.
How do you find it?
You just decide what it is for yourself. People are weird. Do you know why? Do you know what's going to... All right, if you take, the people that are going to be sad when I die away, do you know what's going to make me the saddest about dying?
I have no clue.
I won't know what's going to happen on wrestling the next week.
That's why I jab you,
So fuck you. I enjoy the shit out of it. You know what I mean? When the big cards come on, I pull Mick off the thing and I put him in front of the screen, watch it together. You know what I mean?
It's fake, right?
Of course, motherfucker. I know it was fake since I was 11. It's like a male soap opera. You watch General Hospital, I watch wrestling.
I don't watch General Hospital.
It's your lie. But yeah, dude, just there's got to be something that makes people happy. Jesus Christ. Go get laid. You know what I mean? Go watch a good movie. Read a fucking book. Get a suntan. Let's go play Frisbee. Do you know what I mean? There's got to be something. If you really honestly think, that there's nothing in this world worth living for or worth waking up the next morning for, I would like to point you, at my mantle and the people that died way too young that did have shit that they like to do and did have people that loved them and did have lives that were full, and meaningful, that aren't going to get the fucking chance that you have right now. You have a spark of life in you and you want to give it away like it was nothing. When I have a whole mantle full of good people that got it taken away from, it just doesn't seem right. You have that spark. There's got to be something you can do with it. It's got to be something. And if you're so far gone that you just don't think there is, then let's go smoke some pot. Do you know what I mean? Something. There's got to be something. I will never believe someone to look me dead in the face and go, there is nothing in this world that I want to wake up in the morning for. Bitch, you don't like eggs? You know what I mean? Let me make you an omelet. You know what I'm saying? My omelets rule. Fuck around, let me throw some hash browns on there. There's got to be something. There's got to be something. A favorite song, a favorite meal. Let's go to the strip club. Fuck, something. There's got to be something. And if you don't have that something, you got to dig for it, man. You got to find it. I have all kinds of things. I'm happy most days to sit around and fucking play with my cat. I love my cat. My cat brings me joy. My cat needs me. I feed him. That responsibility, it gives me something to do. It gives me a routine. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get a dog. Get a dog. If you get a dog that loves you, you'll be happy. You have to be committed to it. That's the big thing, is you have to be committed to it. You can't just sit in a corner and hope that you'll get better one day. You know what I mean? And that all the pain will go away. You have to push pain away. It's not just going to go away, and it's always with you. It's always with you. It hits me at the weirdest fucking times. I'll hear a song on the radio and just break down. You know what I mean? I walk by Mick's room fucking 10 times a day. On the 11th time, I'll stop and go sit on his desk and cry. You know what I mean? It's always with you.
Yeah.
You have to fight it. You have to decide. You have to choose. You have to choose to be okay. It can't just be wishy-washy about it. You have to be like, I'm going to fucking be okay, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to make myself okay, to make my daughter okay, to make anybody else that needs to be made okay. Okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to choose to fucking do that. And that's what I did. I chose to do it. I decided that I still had time left. I don't know how long. Nobody knows how long, but I would imagine mine's probably not too much fucking longer. Do you know what I mean? But until I'm gone and I'm still here, I choose to be happy. I choose to get the most I can out of this life because I know that those people that are gone would want nothing but that for me. Plus, I'm a fucking hedonist. I'm here to get joy out of life. It's always been my thing. Ever since I was a kid, I've been here to enjoy myself. And I can't let anything take that away from me. Because in the end, that's what life's all about.
I had a friend of mine approach me once. We were talking about a mutual friend of ours. He going through a bad time, PTSD, really depressed, and he had expressed, to us openly that the only thing keeping him around right now, this was a while ago, so he's not in danger right now, but the only thing keeping him around at that time was that he didn't have the heart to shoot his dog first. Yeah, a horrible sounding thing, but the long and short of it was...
No, it's real. I think about him all the time. If I die first, he'll probably just eat my body.
Well,
it's fucked up.
My friend didn't understand I don't want to say the desire, but the inclination toward suicide, the inclination toward ending it all. And I worked real hard to try and explain it to him, and the best way that I could is that, at least thus far in my life, the worst pain has been the feeling of hopelessness. You can get through pretty much anything. You can swim your ass to a beach if you have the hope of seeing an island and you're out there in the water. You can get through a terminal illness if they say you've got a 1 in 10 shot of making it. But if you remove that hopelessness,
1 in 100 is still a shot.
Yeah, if you remove that hope though, and you're in that fog, you're in that mindset at that time. Even if you can logically say a couple days from now I'll feel better, and that hope will be there. It's not right now, and then you can think, I don't want to feel like this again. I know another year from now, 6 months from now, 2 years from now, I'll feel like this again. I think it's probably safe to say that at least for a period of time, you, better than many, truly understand the sincere feeling of hopelessness. How would you convey such a strong emotion to somebody?
Well, as long as there's life, there's hope. And if you're alive, the things could get better. But if you're dead, they'll never get better. They're never going to get better if you're dead. You just have to be patient, and you have to make moves. You have to make adjustments. You have to take steps. Everybody in this life is where they put themselves. You're where you put yourself in this life. I'm where I put myself in this life. Shit's going to happen to us that we don't have no control over. You know what I'm saying? But we have the choice to make that as important or not as important as we choose to make it, to carry on in our pursuit of happiness. Do you know what I mean? If you feel like you have no hope, you're probably wrong, because things change on a dime. And no matter what it is that's so fucked up about you, it can change. Terminal illness is like different, if they tell you, you got stage 4 and you got 3 months and there's nothing we can do about it, you're over here like in a different pile. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if your boyfriend broke up with you, or your boss is a dick, or, you lost somebody that you loved, or your dog got run over by a car, it gets better. It gets better. It's going to pass. And can I tell you what? You're talking to a guy who never thought it would get better. I'm like, I'm just going to live like this for the rest of my life and just be a fucking wreck. It gets better. It gets better. You have to be positive about it. You have to make changes. You have to see things the right way. There's not a fucking problem that you could put in front of me, no matter what, except for the terminal illness, and you guys can go right back over here. Okay, but there's not a problem that you can put in front of me that I can't tell you how to fix. I can't. I can tell you how to fix anything. Anything. Tell me what it is, and I can tell you how to fix it. I got a buddy who's doing, a long stretch of prison time for something that he was an idiot about. It was his fucking fault because he was stupid. But he didn't deserve what he got, and he's going to be in for a good part of the remainder of his life. And when I talk to him, I'm upbeat. But I talk to him about good shit where he is. Read any good books? How's the food? What are you doing for a job? Making any friends? Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, I could go, man, you're fucking prison. When you get out, you're going to be an old man. Everything sucks balls for you. Damn, I'm sorry. No. I mean, you know, no matter what it is, it can be overcome. I don't give a shit. Even the terrible shit, like we were talking about drug addiction. You know, I'm just so sick of my drug addiction, I'm going to kill myself. Hey, man, why don't you just detox instead? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, no matter what it is. I mean, you know, prison is another thing that's like, you want to put them in a little pile next to the, hey, you're going to die people. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I mean, because there's just some things that are so fucked up that you really have to dig deep to find something good about it. Terminal illness in prison are two of those things. Do you know what I'm saying? And death of a loved one is right there also. You know what I mean? Those are things that, man, you got to fucking dig deep, you know, to find a way to push through it. But if you've decided that's what you're going to do, you can do it. You can do it. I mean, you know why I say that? Because I'm doing it. Yeah, I'm doing it. Every day I'm doing it, and it ain't easy, and some days I fall a little short. But tomorrow's a new fucking day. You know what I mean? And I'm going to laugh, and I'm going to smile, and I'm going to make you laugh. You know? And if you got a problem, you can come to me, and I'm going to put my problems on the back burner. I'm going to tell you how to deal with your problems. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's the choice that I've decided to make.
Do you have any, it's probably going to sound a little silly, but do you have any, like, mantras that you think about to yourself? Maybe you wake up in the morning and, you know, the sun is up. I mean, anything simple that starts your day off as life's all right, life is safe.
There's things that I say to other people. I mean, my commitment to myself and being happy until I die is so ingrained. It doesn't even bear mentioning. I don't have to say it. I know it. You know. To other people, I say things like, you know, every day that you wake up is a day for you to change your situation. You know, for you to not be in an abusive relationship anymore. This could be the day that you're not in that relationship anymore. This could be the day that you decide to, you know, get custody of your child back. This could be the days that you decide not to be a drug addict anymore. This could be the day you decide to go back to college. This could be the day that you decide you're sick of your boss making your life fucking suck and tell him to eat it and go find another job. This could be that day. Every single morning when you wake up, this could be that day. It could. And I had a little piece of paper with the word today on it. And it was taped up next to my door. And it was, you know, after Mick passed away, I put it up. And it just said, you know, today. And it reminded me on my way out my door that today was a day that anything could change and everything could change. And I truly, truly believe that. I believe that as long as you wake up in the morning, today could be the day everything changes for you. Now, in most cases, that's not going to happen unless you fucking make the change. You know, I mean, you have to do something.
Right.
You can't sit in the corner and wait for something good to fall on your head. You know, because it's probably going to be a meteorite. You know, I mean, you're not. Nothing's going to just fall on your lap. But if you are committed to changing your situation, your job, your boyfriend, your drug addiction, your homelessness, whatever the fuck you got going on that sucks, when you decide to change it, everything changes for you, and you can do that any day you want. You can do it any day you want. You can. You can wake up tomorrow and decide you don't want to be a hippie anymore and cut all your hair off. You know what I mean? I could wake up in the morning and decide that, you know, I'm sick of being a fat guy and go lift weight for the rest of my life and be Mr. Olympia. Do you know what I mean? That could be the day. Pretty fucking unlikely, but that could be the day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be. I mean, I feel like as long as you got a breath, man, you got a hope and you got a chance. And I think that where people fuck up and I have not fucked up is that I'm committed to it, man. I mean, like I'm, you know, I'm gonna be good. God damn it, I have people that count on me. I count on me. You know, my children count on me. My family counts on me. My fucking cat counts on me. You know, I mean, you know, my bosses count on me. I mean, I need to be okay. I'm committed to it. And as long as that's my sitch, then I'm gold, man. I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna have my rough days, you know, because I'm a fucking human being. I miss my people, you know. But for the ones that are still here, including the dude I look at in the mirror every day, I mean, I gotta push on, man. Fuck, that's not even an option, and it shouldn't be for anybody else either. It's too easy to fix things that are wrong. I just lost everybody, you know. Well, almost everybody, you know. I mean, I lost my whole history. I lost my whole routine, you know, and it's not enough to keep me down. It's not enough to make me give up. I'm still going to push on, and yeah, I have the motivation of children. Do you know what I mean? But even if I didn't, I would have made it over that rough hump, and I would realize that, you know, my clock's ticking too. You know, and while I still got this little spark left, I'm going to desperately enjoy every single moment of it.
I like that.
That's what I'm here for, man. That's what you're here for. That's what we're all here for.
Yeah.
What the fuck do people think we're here for? Stress, pressure, worry, you know, depression. You know, I mean, that's not what we're here for, dude. It's not. And the people that waste their fucking time on this planet like that, when they could be giving that spark of life to one of those people over there that are dead, you know, that upsets me.
All right. So after spending all this time talking about such serious subject matter, I want to try to end the podcast on a slightly lighter note, something a little bit more, you know, amusing. So if you're down for it, we're going to do a quick rapid fire question and answer round.
All right.
Yeah?
Okay.
All right. Where would you like to see yourself in 5 years?
Vegas.
Just Vegas?
Yeah.
I just want to be there.
Well, I'm going to play the World Series of Poker this summer.
All right, cool.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, a girl can dream, but just think I hit it big. If I hit it big enough, I would move out there, and that would be my life. I would just play poker and pay my bills that way. But I mean, you know, I would have to hit it real big. I don't know. You said where would I like to be? There's a difference where would I like to be and where I think I'll be.
Oh, that's why I said where would you like to be?
Yeah, I'd like to be in Vegas. My mom loves it out there.
What do you hope to leave behind when your time on this planet's over?
Children that do good things and are happy. And maybe a legacy of a guy who enjoyed his time. You know, I mean, that's all I really am, is just a guy who's enjoying his time. You know, and maybe if I can, you know, tell or show others how to enjoy their time too, then great. I mean, I do try to talk to people and make them see that, you know, happiness is a choice, and the clock's ticking. You know, I mean, I really do. But well, I just want to be remembered as a guy who made the most of his time.
What's the last thing that made you laugh until you cried?
The last thing that made me laugh until I cried was a meme on the internet. I hate to say it.
What is this illustrious meme?
Well, I really, I don't know if I should say it or not.
Okay.
But
if you're not sure.
This one kid trolled this other kid so epically that I spit my drink out, and then I had to go ahead and quote the meme and put, "You made me spit my drink out." But yeah, there was tears in my eyes. It was so goddamn funny. But just a little thing like that, you know. I mean, and regardless of what kind of day I was having, that would have turned it all around. If I was having a shitty day, that kid's meme would have like totally turned my whole day around. But as it was, I was having a good day anyway. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Bonus.
Yeah.
If you stub your toe on the coffee table, what is your go-to string of swear words to explain how you feel?
You just saw it when I saw my toe on the chair coming over here.
Yeah, I know, but it was a little more anticlimactic than what I was expecting.
Yeah, well, I had to. Well, I usually try to internalize it, but at least one good motherfucker. Yeah, and then I look, and then I usually say, "Jesus Christ, that fucking hurts," and then I miss the thunderbolt misses me. Yeah. Usually motherfucker and Jesus Christ, those are my two go-tos. Yeah.
All right.
Son of a bitch, I might throw that in if it was like a really big one. Yeah, it's fucked up because I stub my toe a lot. I don't know why I just don't wear shoes.
All right. If you could change any one thing about yourself without any limitations as to what it could be, what would you change?
I like to be tall. Maybe.
Define tall. How tall are you now? How tall would you like to be?
I'm like 5'7.5" maybe now, maybe 5'8". My driver's license says 5'9" because I was standing on my tippy toes.
Of course you were.
Fucking A. I don't know, dude. I mean, I don't even know if I'd like to be tall. I mean, I would say I'd like to be in better shape, but I can do that. You know, I mean, if I would like to pick something that I can't do for myself. I don't know, man. Maybe 30 years of like beating my body up in restaurants. tromping around on cement floors. I wish I had a better back and my knees were better. I wish I didn't have all the wear and tear on myself that I have. How about that? I got a lot of wear and tear.
I think that's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, I don't really give a fuck about being tall. I'm short people are cute. I mean, and yeah, I should be in better shape, but I can do that. And I wish I didn't smoke. But I can do that too.
You're working on it.
Yeah, I am. Well, not really. I pounded down like 7 or 8 while we're fucking sitting here doing this, but there's nothing coming out. But yeah, I mean, honestly, dude, I'm good. I think about it sometimes, like being other people, and man, I think there's like multi-millionaires and Hollywood actors and everything. I bet a lot of them really don't get the enjoyment out of their lives that I get out of mine. So I think that I'm just good being Mike Burch most of the time.
Yeah.
When I want to be really tall, I stand on shit. Yeah.
On your tippy toes for your license.
Yeah. 5'9". Don't make me get it out. And it's funny too, because people will be like, "How tall are you?" I'll be like 5'9". They'll be like, "No," and I'll be like, "Look, state of Florida does not lie."
Yeah.
They're like, "You're on your tippy toes, weren't you?" And I'm like,
I'm just gonna start walking around and carrying a measure tape around me. So
yeah.
just
No,
walk up to you one day.
I'm far from perfect, but I'm good. I wouldn't change much.
No.
I mean, I wouldn't change anything about me. I would just change shit that's happened.
Fair enough. Name a physical sensation you hate.
A physical sensation that I hate. I mean, like, burning myself sucks. Yeah. I'm going to have to go with burning flesh. I don't know. because like working in restaurants, I've burned the fuck out of myself like a million times. It's always unpleasant.
Well, I think what makes me laugh about that is I'm reminded when we were doing the catering and Deb burned her forearm on the fucking oven. And you're like, oh, thanks for taking one for the team. You're a dick.
I love Deb. No, I hate being burned, but I do it all the time, so I'm used to it.
All right. Tell me about a funny or mean prank that you pulled on somebody.
Funny or mean prank. 2 nights ago, there's this girl, actually 3 nights ago at the bar, I was working. This girl, she's a regular. We're good friends. And she was outside talking on her phone to somebody outside the front door where my car was parked. Well, I wanted to move my car around back, right? So I came out the door and I saw her there, and no shit, in like the second and a half that it took for our eyes to meet, I went, I'm out of this fucking place. I said, I've had enough, and I grabbed my keys and I start making my way to my car. And she's like, wait, what? I go, I fucking had it with these drunk assholes, dude. I can't take it one more fucking day. I said, if anybody asks, tell them I don't give a fucking close to this bar and I might be back to work tomorrow. I don't know. And I got in my car and I drove off. And she was like, you know what I mean? Because I'm the only employee in the fucking bar, The bar's now unattended. Well, I just drove around back and parked my car, but she didn't know that. I just went speeding off out of the parking lot. You know what I mean? So I go in, I park my car, I come back behind the bar, and I pour this guy a beer. And she comes around the door, she goes, you guys aren't going to believe what the fuck? And I just pour a beer. I go, what's the problem? She's like, you just, like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Made her look crazy in front of all the other patrons.
No, not really, because she didn't get, like, the whole thing out, but it made her, like, kind of go, what the fuck? Because she really thought I was out of there. And it was funny because the whole thing took me, like a nanosecond to come up with. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this.
If you had your choice of a theme song that played every time you walked into a room, what song would you pick?
Oh, wow.
Please don't be Duran Duran.
The theme song that played every time I walked into a room.
Mm-hmm. You'd hear it too.
I'd hear it too?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a tough one. 'Cause I love so many songs. But probably something like... probably something cool like by Prince or something. Like maybe 1999. Yeah. Something upbeat, like, I don't know. Either that or Walk by Pantera.
That's a good one. I can support that one.
Well, that's because you're a heavy metal demon worshiping go to hell guy. But yeah, maybe that.
All right.
Prince or Pantera. How does one get from that to that?
If anybody spends any time in the bar that you work at while you have control of the jukebox, it's pretty evident how one goes from that to that.
People are happy when I'm in charge of the jukebox.
All right, last question. Somebody was going to ask you to name their pet dog, but you only had 10 seconds to settle on a name. What would you pick? 10, 9.
Thor.
Thor.
Yes. But not Fat Thor. Regular Thor.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen Endgame yet, but
Okay.
I've seen the meme, and I'm already disappointed by that.
Okay. Well, before we go, there's only one thing for me to do, and that's spoil Endgame for all of you.
No.
JK.
All right, any closing remarks?
No, it's as you can see, at times it's difficult to talk about my journey this past couple years, but if somebody can see from what I've said about the people that I have lost, how much they meant to me, and see the actual anguish and despair that I've had to muddle through, maybe you can pull something out of that and use it for yourself, because I'm not special. I'm just a dude who's trying to make the most of his time on the planet, and if you haven't been where I am or where I've been, you will be. So maybe you better start getting your head around that now, so when it does happen to you, you can do what I do and just keep on with keeping on. As long as there's life, there's hope. And I'm still here. And you're still here. So make the most of it. Clock ticking.
Thanks for doing this. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, no problem. It's all good.
Thank you guys for watching. I hope we get to do more of these. And if you guys liked it, do me a favor. Let me know. If this is the kind of thing that you were able to pull something from or you got some enjoyment out of, let me know and I'll do my best to keep them going. So, thank you. We're chilly in this house sometimes.
You're sitting right underneath the air thing.
Yeah, I noticed. Sitting here, I'm consciously thinking to myself, don't make a shivering noise when you ask a question.
Look at Ignacio. He's like, what's going on here?
Yeah, I got some bread ties over there. He's not going to like...
Bread ties?
Yeah. Like, to keep my cables together. He's not going to like swallow one and shit it out later, is he?
You'd be surprised when he swallows and shits out.
Okay.
I was missing my anal beads for like 3 months. One day, whoop, out they came. Yeah, he's all up in your shit. Want me to put him away?
I mean...
I can put him in the bedroom.
Will he be happy?
He'll be all right. I mean, he'll want to be out here with what's going on, but he doesn't respect boundaries, dude. He's gonna get in your shit. Look at him.
Yeah.
Hey, man. Hey.
Teamwork. You have no idea how valuable that is.
Every time you do it, I expect a light to come on somewhere.